GQ, a British magazine or British website, British, thanks to CMA, made I'm really stumbling over my words today. I don't know what's wrong with me. Made a list of top 100 games of all time, made by the critics. Like, so they had critics voting for their favorite games of all time. This is the ultimate list of top 100 games of all time. You've read it over. I haven't. I was gonna give my first impressions here and go. Oh. I already know what number one is. I think. But okay. we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. But we also wanted to discuss our personal top 10 games and see how they line up with the critics. Essentially, that was the idea. So do we want to do our top 10s first, or do we want to do the official top 100 first and then see how our top 10s match up? Which way would you like to do it?
I think what we'll do is let's go for a critic's choice. Let's see what they got.
Yeah.
And then we'll put them to rights afterwards by showing them what a true top 10 list is.
That sounds good to me. Okay, so I got the list up here. Well, I'll bring it up on my phone. Yeah. So because I didn't have it on my computer, but because I'm recording and Alice usually records, my system is completely messed up. So I'm doing it all on the fly, differently. We had so many tech issues.
I can do this if you want me to, mind. I can pull it up and go through them if you want me to.
Yeah, I mean, I've got it on my phone as well. We'll just read them out, really.
Legend.
Yeah, so...
Legend.
I mean, how far back do we want to go? Because number 100 is Knights of the Old Republic. So that's pretty cool. Are we going to go 100 to 1, or are we just going to do the top 10?
Let's go for a top 10. I don't think anybody's got enough patience for 100 games. Even though there are some absolute bangers even in that top 90. In that first ones from 90 to 100.
Number 96 is Super Mario Bros. Are you serious? Number 96? 96?
Yeah.
Wow. Okay, wow. I mean, it's not in my top 10, but still. Fable 2, Mass Effect. I'm just going through it. GTA 4, the worst GTA. Wow, still not bad, actually. Yes, 89.
Fine. Better than GTA London.
Yeah, Mario Odyssey number 87. Jeez. All right, I'm trying to get to number 1, but this list is very long. Is it all on one page, or have I got is it multiple pages?
Yeah.
Oh my god.
It's all on one page with just adverts like every
scroll. Ooh, got to 7. I gotta go back. I went too far. Okay. Oh, okay.
Spoiler for number 7.
Number 10 in the ultimate list of ultimate awesomeness of for critics, whatever they want to call it. Number 10, Half-Life 2. Sure. I mean, it's a good game. I've never really... I don't know. What do you think? I'm not...
Phil's gonna hate me for this. And I sworn by this ever since I played it. I was a huge fan of Half-Life. Yeah. And my parents had a PC. And I was never a PC gamer. Never have been. No, I could barely find the escape button. And... literally, I saw all the rave about Half-Life when it came out, and so I bought it. And the PC, my parents' PC, could run it, and it was amazing. It blew my mind, right? I couldn't believe that this is what PC people were eating while I was playing, Destruction Derby on a PS1,
that game was class, to be fair. That should be on the top 100. I remember Destruction Derby. That was so much fun.
It was great. And yeah, I was playing on my PS1, PS2, and I was enjoying, Final Fantasy X or whatever it was. And then I remember playing Half-Life, and I was like, oh my god, the suit would tell me when I broke a leg. The suit would say this to me. The suit would talk to me. Yeah. The doctors, I can smack them in the face with a crowbar. Anyway, flash forward years later, and everyone was saying about Half-Life 2 and how great it was, and how amazing it was, and how revolutionary the gravity gun was, and all this stuff. I just never picked it up, just never bothered. Huh. And then Phil was like, just on to me like a bloody bad itch all the time. You need to play Half-Life 2, you need to play Half-Life 2. So I bought the collection that had Portal and
the orange box.
Half-Life. Yeah, the orange box thing. Yeah. And I thought it was okay.
It's alright.
I just didn't get it. And I think the issue was that I came to it so much later.
Yeah, I agree.
That I'd played already Killzone 2 and 3 and all these different games where it borrows so much. Like every game borrowed so much from Half-Life 2 that when I played it where it came from originally, I didn't appreciate that that's where it came from. I just thought, it's what I've done for the last 5 years. But it's all because everything else copied Half-Life 2.
I agree.
So
No, I agree because like with Half-Life 2, like games like Halo Combat Evolved and stuff, it was all about environmental storytelling, and that was basically highly inspired by Half-Life 2. But I would play Halo over Half-Life 2 any day of the week, honestly, like the original one. So I mean, like I feel like, as you said, going back to it now, it doesn't. I don't know if it's aged as well as people think it has. I recommend people go back and play it now and see how they feel, because it's not as good as I remember it, but it's still a good game. It's still influential. It did some good things for the industry. Not my cup of tea, though. Honestly, it wasn't really my thing, personally.
Didn't make my top 10.
No, and then people could get their pitchforks out now and come at me down.
They will.
Speaking about games that didn't make my top 10, Dark Souls, the original, great game, but not in my top 10. Great game. What a game.
Near perfect experience. Perfect experience. I played Dark Souls 1 so many times, like an infinite number of times, and I went back last year, I think it was.
Yeah.
And I thought, you know what, I'm going to get the platinum on Dark Souls 1.
Oh, wow.
And I did it. It took me ages to get all different weapons and all different things. And it was just incredible. It's just one of those games that is just infinitely replayable. Deserves to be in this top 10 spot.
Hell yeah.
Definitely.
I mean,
definitely. Coming in at number 9. Dark
Souls, I love the idea of Dark Souls, and I love watching Dark Souls, but I just suck at video games. I can never get past the first or second boss in Dark Souls games, and that's my problem. So, if there's a game, for example, that I can cheese past the bosses of a Souls type game, I would probably like it a bit more. Hint, hint. Later on. If there's something I can cheese past some of the harder stuff, just put that out. Number 8 is Portal 2. Great game. Good co-op game, good single player game. I think Portal 1 may be better. I don't know. It's more of like a tech demo.
Crazy Portal.
The first one, though, I don't know. I might be better. I said might be. I'm not 100% sure, actually. It's debatable.
No way.
No, you think two's better, definitely?
100% 2's better than 1, yeah. 2 is just like the perfect realization of what Portal is, to me. And you get just awesome moments, like GLaDOS being in the potato.
Yeah, that's true.
It's just class.
Steven
you
Merchant.
get that moment where you go in through that science lab, and it's done by I can't remember the actor's name now. It's the same guy who voices J. Jonah Jameson.
Oh yes. Yes.
I can't remember his name. That's gonna kill me not remembering his name.
I might Google it.
But that entire section is so good, and I think the reason why I love it so much as well is not just because of how perfect it plays and the humor and the story and everything, but the experience I had. I played it through with Phil, co-host of In PS We Trust, and the way we did it was that he was playing on his PC and I was playing on the PS3, and you could do cross between Steam and PlayStation.
I remember that.
Wild. It was wild. Never seen it before, never seen it since. At that time.
Yeah.
And incredible experience.
J.K. Simmons, by the way, I just looked it up.
J.K. Simmons.
Thank
you. That would have eaten me up. I would have woken up in the middle of the night with that.
J.K. Simmons. I need pictures of Spider-Man. Portal 2's great though, and it's one of the best co-op games ever, I would say. Absolutely fantastic game to play in co-op. GLaDOS is hilarious, and still Sweetly, a.k.a. Steven Merchant. I mean, considering these characters are like just basically almost like disembodied voices or just robots, they got so much personality behind them. It's absolutely crazy. Love Portal 2. Didn't make my list though. Just gonna put that out there. I love it though.
Didn't make mine.
Oh no.
Probably should have.
Okay, so this is gonna be a spoiler for my list, but this next game actually does make it on my list. Just about. Number 7 on the all-time greatest games of all time according to critics is Metal Gear Solid. Metal Gear. The best 6 out of 10 according to Spencer, apparently.
Still haunts me to this day that he gave Metal Gear Solid. The best. Hideo Kojima's debut,
that's a masterpiece.
Debut on the PlayStation PlayStation 1, an absolute bona fide masterpiece. One of the best games of all time.
It is.
It appears in my list as well.
Yeah.
I won't tell you where.
The same. Yeah, and also the thing about the thing about Metal Gear Solid 1, the original, is that you can still go back to it and play it, and you can still watch the cutscenes, and it's still just as enjoyable now as it was back then. Yeah, the controllers are a little tanky and a little clunky, but it's still infinitely replayable, and infinitely, like, it's still, like, the voice acting is much better than, like, you're a massive Resident Evil fan. Like,
Yeah,
you know, it's not like they're going like, I thought you were going to be a Jill sandwich, like the original Resident Evil, like, voice acting. The voice acting in Metal Gear Solid 1 still holds up to this day for the most part. You know,
the thing about it is, it's so impactful because before Metal Gear Solid, you just didn't have that level of production value.
Yeah.
Like to be able to have that moment where you come at the lift right at the start, and you know Snake's getting unchanged out of all his scuba gear, and then the titles come up, and then as soon as you come up, you just see the helicopter behind D, and it just flies off, and you're like, oh my god! You see all the snow, and you can walk, and your footsteps would track, and it's just like every moment when I played that as a kid was just like blowing my mind. Every single moment of it.
Should we just stop the podcast and just talk about Metal Gear Solid for like an hour? Because I'm
Please,
totally I like one of my favorite clips from In PS We Trust ever is when you're doing the monologue of Wolf and Otacon from Metal Gear Solid 1. I love that clip. It's so good. It's like they do, like, for people who haven't watched In PS We Trust, they do like dares to dare each other to do impressions and stuff. So I think it Spencer asked you to do an impression of Otacon or something, and then you ended up just doing a whole like 40 second speech.
With like Otacon's got like 3 words, and
It's so
all the rest
good.
of it is Snake. Yeah.
Oh, I love Metal Gear Solid 1. It's such a good game, Metal Gear Solid 1. This is the big question. What do you think of Twin Snakes?
I detest it. I detest it. And the reason being, right, I should love it. I should, on paper, you think, right, we're going to remake it. GameCube graphics. I love the GameCube. It's going to have everything from Metal Gear Solid 2 that you love, but in Metal Gear Solid 1. On paper, that sounds immense.
Yeah.
But then in reality, all that happens is it just breaks the game because guards can still only see you in a tiny, like, cone. And you could just, first person, just nail them from across the map. And it just totally ruins it. You can totally cheese like every boss going. And Snake, for whatever reason, becomes Cyborg Ninja. He's doing flips out of nowhere. You know, he's never been that athletic, and he's doing insane flips. He's like basically, you might as well grind on the bloody Hind D's missiles when they're coming at him and fire Nikita. It's wild. It's insane. Yeah, too much for me. Too much for me. Would I kill to see it be remade on PS5? Yes. Yeah. Yes, I would. I would skin a man and eat them alive for that. I would do anything.
Yeah, the rumors is Metal Gear Solid 3 isn't it? It's getting the remake, which I like Metal Gear Solid 3 just fine, but the first one I would much prefer to see the first one done personally. Oh my god, it's such a good game. Like, it's like little things. It's like I see you be playing Super Smash Brothers. Or you've been playing Castlevania with Psycho Mantis. Oh my god, it's so good. And then like also like we're gonna show Solid Snake looking at Meryl's ass, and you're gonna think he's a pervert, but it's like, no, that's actually important to the story, and you need to pay attention to that.
When I was a kid, and the Colonel's telling me, oh, you can find her code on the back of the box, Snake.
Oh my
and
god,
I'm like,
yes.
What you want about the back of the box? And I'm like looking at all my cardboard boxes, like reading the description. I'm like, is this a clue? I'd been playing a lot of Resident Evil before, so I was like, is this a clue? Do I need to figure this out? And then it wasn't until literally I've just randomly just thought, I'll have a look through the instruction guide, turn it over, and I see the code deck on the picture on the back.
So
I think,
good.
Oh my god, this is so good.
Oh man,
how did they think of this?
I need to play that game now. I'm gonna play it later. I just love Metal Gear Solid so much. And so like, can't wait for Death Stranding 2, even though I haven't finished the first one. I need to go back and play this one. And also there's a rumored Xbox Hideo Kojima game coming as well, which I'm looking forward to. Oh yes, I think we could talk about Metal Gear Solid all day, but I think we better move on to number 6 because I literally could just keep talking about how good that game is.
Me.
Number 6 is Mass Effect 2. Interesting. I think it's a good choice. Again, not on my list, but I like it.
Do you know, this is like my biggest gaming like faux pas. Everyone's got them, right? Games that they've just missed or they haven't played. I've never played a single Mass Effect.
Wow.
And I know it's terrible. And I went into this year saying that it was going to be my New Year's resolution that I'll play the Mass Effect trilogy. I'll probably skip Andromeda. And
yeah, that's a good call.
And I just haven't had time. And I'm desperate to, because everything I've heard is just glowing. But would you not? It certainly wouldn't make a top 10 for yourself, then, Lewis.
I think it's a great game. I think it'd probably be my top 100 for sure. It wouldn't be my top 10, but it's a great game. Like, is the whole? I mean, am I spoiling Mass Effect 2? Probably a little bit, but it's just basically it's all about essentially you build up for a suicide mission essentially, and you just got to get your crew together. And it's just basically how strong your crew is how well you do in the game, basically. So it's like the whole game is building up to one super mission at the end, essentially. And it's like all your connection, like it basically the end of the game, the payoff of the final mission essentially makes up for everything else in the entire game. Essentially, it's very, like probably the best final mission in like a video game, like probably ever. One of the top, like that would be in my top 10 final missions for sure. It's a very good game, Mass Effect 2. Mass Effect 3 was a little bit of a letdown. I mean, again, spoilers for Mass Effect 3, but basically the end of the Mass Effect 3 just came down to, do you want a red explosion, a green explosion, or a blue explosion? That's literally it. It's like none of the thing you did before that really mattered. It's like, oh, okay, great, thanks. That's why everyone was so pissed off with that game when it came out. So Mass Effect 2 was great. Mass Effect 1's a bit buggy, and they fixed it in the remaster, so probably worth playing the remaster. Mass Effect 2 is the best one in the trilogy for sure. And yeah, don't play Andromeda. Fuck that game. don't even touch it. Yeah, speaking about gaps in knowledge, The Witcher 3. I have it. I've played about an hour of it multiple times, but I've never got that far into The Witcher 3. I've always wanted to, but I just get so... I don't know, I lose track and end up playing something else. I don't know what's wrong with me. What about you?
Well, I've played 80 hours in The Witcher 3.
Wow.
And I felt like I did nothing in that game. It's so big, it's so vast.
It's me with Tears of the Kingdom. It's me with Tears of the Kingdom right now. I'm literally just playing that for hours and don't feel like I've done anything.
It's crazy. I mean, and the thing about it is I got suckered into Gwent. I started playing Gwent, and that was it. You know, like I was like, oh well, here's 20 hours gone. I've just been sitting in this bar playing bloody Gwent. And the game is phenomenal. And at the time on its release, it was a visual showcase. I couldn't believe that it could run. It was wild on PS4. So good. And yeah, I fully appreciate it being here. For me, it's too much. You know, like I'm more one of those guys that likes a short, snappy experience. I like to get in, get out of my games, put them down. 80 hours into a game is a big time investment for me. And to feel like I'd got to the second part of the world and there was another part to go.
Oh, God.
And I was like, it's my own fault because I couldn't stop looking at everything. You know, I couldn't stop doing side quests. I just couldn't help myself.
Yeah.
And it's one of those games where it's like, instead of it being like maybe like one or two exclamation marks come up, it'd be like, oh, you entered a new place. Here's 500 things you could do. And for me, it's kind of like a little bit of OCD. As like I'm really enjoying this. I want to do everything.
Yeah.
And it became too much. It was like, well, this would be my life. This would do a full year of gaming, and there'd be nothing else left. But fully appreciate those people that have put the time in and seen it through, because I haven't.
Yeah, it was like one of the first games I played on my Series X as well. Like I downloaded it on my Series X to play it while I was downloading all the new games. I was playing my old games from the Xbox One. I played it for like an hour, and then I got distracted. I don't know what it is with it. And I love card games, so I'm sure if I started playing Gwent, I would get obsessed because I get addicted to playing like digital card games and stuff. I would probably be obsessed with it if I got into it for sure. It's always one of those games, as you said with Mass Effect. It's on my list. It's top of my list of games to play is The Witcher 3, and I'm just not got around to it. You know, I need to go around to it and play it definitely, especially if there's when they make the Series X upgrade or the PS5 upgrade for it, because that's coming soon, I think, right? I'm not sure.
Yeah, yeah. So, actually, they've already had upgrades to it. What's happening is that they're doing the Witcher 1. They're doing
Right.
that as a
Yes.
remake. So that's the thing that's coming. So it might very well be a case that you think, right, well, because most people, myself included, started with Witcher 3, right? Because I
Yeah.
think
Same.
Witcher 2 was on Xbox, I
Yeah.
believe.
And PC as
Xbox.
well. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Of course, on PC. Um, and so The Witcher 3 just seemed. I remember when Witcher 3 was first announced, and everyone was excited, and I thought, what? I haven't even heard of this franchise before.
Yeah. Same.
And and it was wild, and the hype was real, and it's one of those rare times where you have a game where the hype is not only met but like totally exceeded, and then the support. I mean, CD Projekt Red at that point were fucking untouchable. You know,
sure.
they just were doing everything right. They're saying all the right things, and yeah, cultural icon in terms of gaming for sure. Witcher 3.
Have you watched?
Um,
Have you watched the Netflix show with Henry Cavill? Or
I love Henry Cavill. I got
Yeah.
such a man crush on him, like
Me
huge
too.
man crush. And oh god,
Makes
I don't know a man
computers,
who
plays
doesn't,
video
to be
games.
fair. Perfect, just a perfect specimen.
Yeah.
And I've watched I think 3/4 of the first season,
Yeah.
and I haven't watched any more. And I
a
need
bit
to because
confusing.
I need to, but I'm just terrible with TV. I'm not very good
No, I'm the same
at
way.
keeping up to date with it.
I don't watch much TV. The thing with The Witcher season 1, I like it, but I enjoyed it more the second time I watched it, because the first time you watch it is, I mean, yeah, there's like basically 3 storylines going on at once, and they're all going over different time periods. Like, so one story's like
Right.
going over 1,000 years, another story's going over like a 10-minute period. It's like they're all like different lengths. It's really confusing. It's like, what's going on? Did this happen before
Feels
or after this bit, or during this bit? Like, what's going? It's very
Feels like my time in the
confusing.
game. They'll be like, Geralt, we need to get over to this next village. It's under attack. And I'm like, well, I've got 80 hours worth of just killing these random enemies in this field just to get this farmer 10 gold, right? So this is probably how Geralt feels in real life.
Oh no. Yeah. Okay, so let's move on to number 4. And I'm pretty sure you love this game, and I love this game as well. Again, not in my top 10. Bloodborne. Probably the second best From Software game in my personal opinion, but also fantastic. I love it. It's a brilliant game.
For me, it makes my top 10. It's in my
Ooh.
list. It's my favorite Souls game by a country mile.
That's my second favorite Souls game, but I do appreciate it's very good.
Oh, it's so good. And do you know, it was weird. I had a weird experience with this game because I remember going to, there was an event at a game store in Cardiff, and it was, you got to play the Order 1886 and Bloodborne,
I
right?
think I went to that.
And so did you go?
Did we bump into? I don't know why we didn't bump into each other. I think I went to that same
And
event.
might have done, yeah. And I went for the Order 1886, and I was like, "What's this game, Bloodborne?" I was like, "Oh, this." I played the demo. I played the demo there, and everyone was queuing up for the demo, and nobody was touching the Order 1886, and I was like knee deep in Order 1886. I was like, "Oh god, I love this," and didn't
Wow.
touch Bloodborne at all. Tried it once, died, and then when they came out, I bought Bloodborne, didn't buy the Order 1886.
That's fair.
And never looked back. Never looked back.
Yeah.
Best monetary decision ever made. That.
Do you remember my friend Dean, also known as Smash Fiend?
Oh yeah.
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 Well, basically, my first impression of Bloodborne is essentially we did a co-op series, which you can still find on my YouTube channel. We did a co-op series in Bloodborne where he basically played it and I just watched because I suck. So I was just making jokes the whole time. That's my whole experience of it. That guy looks like the Undertaker. Ha ha! That's so funny. But yeah, no, basically, I really enjoy the art style and the world. It's just too hard for me because I suck at video games. It's a great game though. From what I have got about 5-6 bosses into it, but I never finished it because I found it a bit hard for me. Yeah, I struggled. With it, but I did enjoy it.
If you need someone to push you through,
Yeah.
my character, I normally I always start like a new character for each run. My character, I never did. So my guy, Barry Big Bollocks, is his name.
Nice.
He's done like 10 runs. So if you need someone just to kill bosses in like 2 hits, just let me know, and I can come in and push you through it.
Tell you what, if they remaster it for PS5, we will co-op some Bloodborne, definitely for sure. If they remaster it for PS5, I'm totally there. Even though I never finished it on PS4, I'll buy it again. Screw it. Number 3, a fantastic game, Tetris. Yay! Almost. If you've seen the Tetris movie, almost got someone like. There's a lot of stuff in Soviet Union down with this game. It's a miracle we even got this game in the end, which is insane to think. Because this was made in the Soviet Union during the Cold War, which is completely mental to think about.
Crazy.
Yeah, but brilliant game. Tetris is the most simple game. My hair is a mess. And it's absolutely fantastic. It's just putting blocks in a row. I mean, what more is there to say about Tetris? I mean, it's amazing.
It's perfect gameplay experience, isn't it? You know, it's a pure
Tetris.
gameplay experience, and it's just the impact at the time. You know, like playing that on a Game Boy was just revolutionary back in the day. You know, with that green screen.
Yeah.
Absolutely wild.
And that's the one they put on the list as well. The green one, you can't really see it. Hey, there it is.
Oh, nice. That's it. That's
the
my
Game Boy one.
Right there.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, and then you also had like Tetris Effect, which is great. Tetris 99, which is great. There's like Tetris Puyo Puyo. There's like so many spin-off Tetris games which are fantastic. It's just like this is the best puzzle game ever. Was the most successful video game of all time until Minecraft came out and took it over in sales, but still fantastic. I love Tetris. I can't see anything bad about Tetris. It's just the perfect game, just perfect. It's just it's the more you can say to it. Oh my god, number 2. Have you seen this list? You know what number 2 is? I think you're going to be happy with number 2.
Go for it. What is it?
The Last of Us Part
1. Okay.
The one I actually like.
Number 2.
The Last of Us I actually like, Part 1. I don't like the PS3 version as well. So I guess they're not counting the PS5 remake, I guess. That's fair enough. Alright, well, I haven't played the remake of the PS5 yet, but I love Last of Us 1. I adore it. I was a bit disappointed with Last of Us 2, which I think we're going to probably we're probably going to talk a bit more about Last of Us 2 later, I'm assuming. I'm guessing. Yeah, I thought we would. So I won't go into too much detail with that. But I love Last of Us 1. He was in my top 10 for a very long time until recent games knocked it off the list. But it's like number 11 or 12 or 13. Like, it's up there. Fantastic game. Ellie's a fantastic character. I love the dynamic between Joel and Ellie. The storyline. I still think that Joel was in the right, even though everyone thinks he's the bad guy now. Fuck that. I think he was totally in the right. The Firefly. I'm gonna just rant now. I'm ranting. I'm having it.
Let it go. Let it go. Come on.
Right. Ellie was almost like a death's door, wasn't she? Like she was unconscious. They took her body and they go, we're going to crack her head open and get the bloody cure out. We're not going to speak to her. We're not going to ask anyone's permission to do it. We're just going to kill this girl and take her. We're just going to open her brain up and kill her. I think Joel is fully within his right to go, no, that's fucked up. You can't do that. And I know he went on a murderous rampage to do it, but I totally I totally get where Joel comes from with this. It's like they didn't even ask her if she wanted to have the operation or anything. They just were gonna kill her without even talking to her. Like, come on now, at least let her wake up first. Christ.
The thing about
Jesus.
it is, right, the argument would be, and the only way this could be justified as being the right thing to do, to kill all these people, to end humanity's hope, right? The only way it could be justified would be if it wasn't 100% chance that it would work, right?
Yeah.
If there was like a 10% chance of it working, fair enough. You can kind of get more on Joel's side, but when Bruce Straley and Neil Druckmann were asked about it, they said, yeah, it would have 100% worked. It 100% would have worked.
But
so at that point, you got a guy making the choice between all of humanity, potentially. Not to say that the Fireflies definitely would have weaponized it, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Or Ellie.
Yeah.
And for me, at the time I played it, I was like, I finished the game, and obviously you get that amazing moment right at the end where she's like, tell me, and he lies to her face, right, on the
sure.
hillside, and that moment, and then when it goes black and goes to credits, I remember just being sat there stunned for ages, because all that's going through my mind is, I played as the bad guy. I was the bad guy the entire time. And so even though you could justify why they've done it, they're still bad. It's like Thanos, where, you know, he might have a noble intention to a certain extent. He's going to save half the universe by wiping out the other half, right?
Yeah.
That plan makes no sense, obviously, in any logical
just
way.
Double the resources. Yeah, double the resources.
Just double the resources. You know, or just make unlimited resources. You know, you got the power of whatever. Anyway, so, but it kind of makes sense. But he's still a bad guy. Joel is 100% a bad guy.
See, I think in this scenario, I feel like the Fireflies are the Thanos in this scenario. If you're going to do it that logic, because they're killing an innocent girl for no reason. But
for no reason, just to save the world.
And but also, I was going to say, Neil Druckmann said it was 100% effective, definitely going to happen. But in this scenario, if you were Joel, you wouldn't know that. As far as you're concerned, they're taking this girl that you've basically become your adopted child, has become your new daughter's figure, and they're just going to kill her for a chance of a cure. I mean, I get it. I'm Joel. I'm going to go kill those motherfuckers. And then they're taking my girl and that.
They definitely handled it wrong, the Fireflies, right?
For sure.
They should have. What they should have done is they should have waited for her to wake up and asked her, because
that's all I want.
She would have said yes. Yeah. She would have said yes. She would have said 100%. But what I would have done if I was the Fireflies, I would have played both sides here. I would have had Joel there. I would have had like 50 guards there with guns pointing at him. And then if she says no, you trank the bitch, you do it anyway, right? So I would have been the bad guy in this. I would have done it anyway, right? Because you're saving everyone. But I would have given her the chance. And then, you know, if it's the case that she says, no, I don't want to, you trank her, shoot Joel, done. You saved the world. You committed a bad deed, right? You are a villain at that point, but you've also saved the world. So you got half. You're weighing it up. Whereas they just handled it wrong. You know, and also, if they just asked her, she'd be like, "Yeah, do it." Also, in part 2, it kind of pisses me off that she goes when her dad speaks to Abby, and Abby goes, "I would let you kill me." So, well, you're not the one on the table, Abby. It's not your choice. I'd let you kill me for it. Why not? It's like, shut up, Abby. Fuck's sake. It's funny how a game I kind of despise Last of Us 2, yet I still remember it so well, and I remember a lot of the things that piss me off. I can still talk about it and have long discussions about that game, even to this day. I haven't gone back to play it since I got the platinum, so... Well, it might be coming up. It might be coming up soon. You never know.
So, right, that comes to the number one by critics, the greatest game of all time, which is already outdated, The Legend of Zelda: Breath of the Wild. Woo!
Wild.
Yeah, I mean, it's great. I mean, honestly, I think Tears of the Kingdom's better, so it's already outdated, but damn. I know you weren't happy with this number one. I kind of already knew about this number one.
Yeah, it's so overrated. To me personally, so overrated, this game. It's unbelievable. It's like as if RPGs never existed before Breath of the Wild. Like, everyone just forgot that you could walk around before, and everyone's like, nah, but Breath of the Wild did it. Yeah. And it's cool. It's good. It's a great game. It's a great... Don't let me undersell it. It's a great game. But I don't think it would be anywhere near my top 50. I don't think it would be anywhere near that. For me, it's nowhere near Ocarina.
Nowhere near that. Wow. Or even, do you know what's mental?
What?
I prefer Phantom Hourglass to Breath of the Wild.
Blasphemy. No, I mean, my favourite Zelda games are Tears of the Kingdom, Breath of the Wild, and then it would be Link Between Worlds. And then
Link Between Worlds is great, yeah.
I like the openness. I think the thing with Breath of the Wild is that you could go anywhere, you could do whatever you want, and it's like no rules to it. You kind of, and it's not, you get like the 4, like, oh, these are the 4 main objectives, you do them if you want, but otherwise just go wherever and do whatever you want. Like The Witcher, you like look at your like mini map, it's like there's like 200 things on your mini map to do. I'm like, where do I start? Whereas Breath of the Wild goes, What's that over there? I'm going to have a look what's over there. I'm curious what's over this hill. Or like, it does what Elden Ring does really well as well. It's essentially an open world that doesn't hold your hand, and it just lets you just have an adventure and have fun and do what you want.
Yeah.
You know, and that's why I think it's fantastic. And it's on my list as well. I was about to spoil my list. It's on my list as well.
Okay. All right.
And I love it. So so good.
So, I mean, looking at that top 10 list we've just gone through there.
Yeah.
I think it's a pretty strong list, to be fair.
Not bad.
You know, I don't agree with it. It's not my personal top 10 list, but
no Mario,
in terms of every game on that top 10, I think they all deserve a place there. Or would you? Is there any that you definitely think should not have made that list overall?
Last of Us. No, joking. Last of Us, put it down. Get rid of that shit. No, I'm kidding. I like Last of Us. I like Last of Us Part 1. I'm glad Part 1's on there, not Part 2. I would have been pissed off if it was Part 2. That would have annoyed me so much. I would have just stopped the podcast and just walked off if it was number 2. It was like, nah, not having that. Not talking about this. No, the top 10 also was like, I'll get the list up again because my screen froze for a second. Okay. So it was, let's have a look. Come back through the list again. Number 11 was Resident Evil 4, by the way. Fantastic game. I think it was the original Resident Evil 4.
Top 10.
Not your favourite, but what about the new Resident Evil 4? 2021.
No, wouldn't have made a top 10. No way.
Well, it's number 11.
Top 10. That wouldn't have made a number 11. No, it's a great game. It's a great game. It's not the best survival horror game I've ever played. You know, or best survival. What do they call it? Action horror. Not the best action horror either. You know, it's good. It's a great game. It's like a solid 9 out of 10. But yeah,
in breaking the top 20.
Number 13 was Ocarina of Time, by the way. I just looked it up. So Ocarina of Time was on there. It's the highest Zelda game that's not Breath of the Wild. And then Super Mario World is the number 1 Mario game, number 14. Anyway, back to the top 10. I just went up too far. Top 10. So it was Half-Life 2. We both were lukewarm on that, but I can see why it's there. Dark Souls, yeah, I get it. Totally. I agree. Portal 2, yes, I agree. That's worthy. Metal Gear Solid 1, yeah, we'll probably talk about that more in a minute because it's such a great game.
Yeah,
we should just change the podcast to the Metal Gear Solid podcast. I still think me, you, and Phil should just start a Hideo Kojima podcast. I think that's got to happen at some point. Just talking about Metal Gear Solid and Death Stranding all the time. Number 6 is Mass Effect 2. Yeah, good game. I wouldn't put it in my top 10, but it's a good game. Witcher 3, I don't really know, but I would say yeah. If everyone says it's fantastic. I just realised there's no Grand Theft Auto in this top 10, or Red Dead Redemption, no Rockstar games. I'm shocked, actually.
It's wild. That's the only omission I thought. Wow, that's pretty crazy that there isn't like GTA 5 in there or Red Dead. You know, like those are the games that I think have the same kind of cultural significance as say like Mass Effect 2. Like to me, looking at the list and obviously not being
damn shit. There's no Elden Ring or no Skyrim or Fallout. I'm shocked.
Yeah.
Damn.
Yeah, I mean, to me, the only one that stands out from this list, the only one that I think I don't know, is Mass Effect 2. And granted, I haven't played it, but you know, to be in the company of any of these games in the top 10, is high praise, you know. And I think putting any top 10 list together is going to be crazy, right? It's going to be nuts. And I think they're all heavy-hitting games. They're all big-dick games. Sure. They're games that you would not want to be coming out around at the same time. You know,
no, that's damn sure.
No way.
I mean, Horizon 1 learned that the hard way, being launched in the Breath of the Wild. Learned that the hard way. Yeah. And then Horizon 2 learned it the hard way with Elden Ring. So, just, yeah. It's just one of those things.
Yeah.
So, that is the all-time critics top 10. We agree with some of it, I think. Thank you for listening to the X Marks the Box podcast. Follow us at X Marks Box on Twitter or X Marks the Box on YouTube. And follow us on all audio podcast services. Thanks for listening.